Hello viewers, Super GT here, welcome to Monza. This is the circuit we've raced many times on Gran Turismo, also on other games. And well, we know it's normally a bit of a horror show, especially here at turn 1 and turn 2. Now this, the fact that I got a penalty there, okay, this tells me this is probably going to be quite a difficult race. Because I practiced this online in just a normal lobby, but then as soon as you go into the FIA, you've got championship track limits. Things are different. You just can't touch the curbs really, or you can't cut the corners at all. It's fair enough, but it is very strict, so you've got to be very, very careful. And this is another example in qualifying now. So I went through Ascari, just grazed the curb a little too much on the entrance, got the penalty, and that's going to mess up my next lap, so my flying lap. And as you can see here, qualifying didn't go very well at all. 16th on the grid. The Mclaren I don't think is the best for this circuit. That's my early excuse anyway. So we'll see exactly how this goes. Now it's going to be one of those races, I think, when I see that, when I see those penalties and how difficult it is to avoid, you just know that, well, I mean, I've played this game enough now to know that if you see those penalties, it's all about keeping it clean. So I'm 16th, I could easily get through this grid if I don't do anything silly, get a silly penalty and go back down the order. One penalty and you are toast, mate, so you might as well really just play a little bit more careful than normal. So then, into turn 1, let's see what we can do then. 16th of the grid, out of 20. Try and salvage something of a decent result. So at all times trying to at least keep 2 wheels on the track, on the black stuff, which is how it should be. That's how it should be. So, sweeping around Curva Grande in the red McLaren this time. And we actually all got through turn 1 and 2 okay, but it's not into turn 3 okay because someone's just gone around spinning into the wall. Everyone moves up a position, looking up the inside, really just to try to avoid contact. And we're through there okay. The Porsche with quite a poor exit, although the Porsche isn't great in a line. Very good handling car though. And I'm up the inside at Lesmo 1, up into 14th. Okay, so 2 positions gained so far. Can we gain another 13 and go for a sensational victory? Probably not, but we can try our damn hardest to do that. So down the back straight, underneath the old banking, and back up the other side into the Ascari chicane. You see everyone sweeping through. Look how close it is. Everyone pretty much knows it's out at this point. But then they should be. It's only lap 1. You hope there wouldn't be too many crashes by this point. So Dominator up ahead in the Aston Martin. He's going to be slowing down. A couple of cars are going to be slowing down. You see them move over to the left hand side, ghosted out. There's the Aston Martin. And you can see the queue forming up behind as we go past the BMW now. Porsche behind. Very, very close indeed. I'm going to go defensive into the final turn just to make sure I keep my position. And I've still got the slipstream of the Audi TT ahead. And once again, you can see just how close the order is. It's so close that if you make one mistake, you get a penalty, or you go wide somewhere, then you're going to lose a couple of positions. So you really do have to tread finely and make sure you don't send yourself before you wreck yourself. That didn't even make sense, but just go along with it. Okay, up ahead then the Audi. He's pushing those track limits to the limit, and we're pulling away from the guys behind. In 12th. Solid lap, up 4, lap 1. Okay, Curva Grande once again. The gap opening up behind. You can see just how close it is in that battle behind though, which is probably why that gap is opening up to me as they're fighting. Into the second chicane. Again, looking for that curb. It can be quite hard to get a sighter when you're so close to the car in front. Sometimes it can be difficult to spot your braking point, spot the apex, spot the curb. And that's what's going to make it easy or easier to get a penalty, because you can't quite see the curb sometimes. See your braking point, you might turn in a little bit too early. So it's very easy to do and you have to avoid it. So then, out of Lesmo 2, fast sweeping section here. As again we go underneath the old oval and then up towards Ascari, spotting the braking point, which is on the little tarmac run pathway on the right hand side, just after the 150 board. VLX Felix up ahead in 10th place with a penalty, although he got it through Ascari, so he's not going to serve it there. Now the Audi going defensive. I'm going to stick right behind him, see if he moves back over to the left hand side. Is he going to open the inside? No, he isn't, so we're going to move back out to the outside. And he's kept the position. Look for the cutback on the way out. It's not quite there. He's covering me off. We're just losing time to the guys ahead. Guys behind. Seeing that, probably liking it, because I'm going to be losing time as well. We're both going to be losing time. Can we go for a move into turn 1 in the slipstream? Let's see how quick the Mclaren is in a straight line. You can see just how much of a gap we have developed here to the guys ahead from this fighting. Into turn 1, looking at the radar, Audi TT still on the inside, there he is. Bit of awkward contact, but he's through. Always kept the position, should I say. And we continue on our way. Come on, can we go about getting an extra position here? I think we will, as VLX Felix with the penalty, which we saw in the last lap. And he's still in that battle up ahead with 3 other cars. So, take 2. Can we get past the Audi TT this time around as someone else up ahead gets a penalty? That's what we want to see. Plenty of red. Plenty of red. We know those penalties are coming. That's all I need. And hopefully I can avoid all of it. And as I said earlier, this is the kind of thing as we sweep around the outside of the TT. He's covered me off last time, but this time around, getting around the outside, hopefully I can get on the slipstream now of the cars ahead. And maybe pull off the move into turn 1. But as I've said, this is the kind of race, you just see it so many times, when there's strict track limits. We see a lot of people getting penalties, especially in qualifying in the warm-up. Then you really need to just make sure you don't get one, basically. It's quite a simple order. So I've taken the apex. I think I've squeezed the guy there. I was looking at the radar. Sometimes it is quite hard to tell if they're alongside. Sometimes they're behind and then they suddenly alongside, but you've already committed. And I think he was angry because he's going to lunge up the inside. And I've seen it coming by looking at the radar again. And somehow he's gained 2 positions there. Not gain, yeah, well, he has got a penalty now. The Porsche just drops off. The Portuguese guy behind. So there's no need to overtake this guy now. So I could have maybe gone for a lunge there, but it would have been quite a difficult thing to do. And again, just trying to avoid those penalties. That's the formula for success around Monza. The cathedral of penalties. Penalty City, if you like. The official Italian city of penalties. As we again sweep up towards the Ascari chicane. So there is the notification. He's going to be slowing down, so there was no point in overtaking him. And he's going to slow down. I'm going to inherit 9th position, and there's someone else with a penalty, Ascaro Road Tax in the Peugeot, and I think he was actually top 3 on the grid, so he's dropped right down. So I've halved my starting position. 16th is where I started. 16 divided by 2 equals 8. There we go. How about that? If you don't pass your maths exam now, then there's no hope for you, I'm afraid. Right then, over the line we go with the close attention of the Hyundai from behind. Now, across the line to begin lap number 5. Now this was one of those races where I just did not want to lose too much time fighting. We lost a lot of time fighting with the Audi TT. And you only have to start defending and fighting and overtaking each other and fighting each other for 1 lap or 2. And the guys ahead will just begin to pull away because they're working together. So if this Felix guy wants to go for the move, I'm not really gonna fight him too much. I'd be quite happy just to sit in his slipstream and get pulled along back towards the slipstream of the guys ahead. And he indeed is going for the move, as we just look on the radar, and he's going to slot in ahead. There he goes, into 8th. So back down to 9th, but still okay. We can just tuck into that slipstream as we said, and hopefully get pulled towards the guys ahead. Now we can maybe talk about the strategy, because we come up to the end of lap 5 as I slide wide. And that maybe is a sign that the soft tyres are beginning to die of their death. So perhaps consider going into the pit lane at the end of this lap, as Felix has caught up with his VLX teammate here into the final turn. Dennis doesn't really give any resistance, like a good teammate, and Felix goes through. He goes wide though on the exit, and I'm going to jump up the inside as then we pull over to the right hand side. A lot of people staying out. I guess the no stop might be a viable strategy here, as Monza, you know, there's not too many long corners, there's just a lot of straights, so you can maybe get away with a no stop. Maybe on medium tyres it might be a bit better. So away we go, and we are going to resume the race in 15th position at this point, with Dennis right behind us. And we're going to stay over to the right hand side, not really to obey the white line, but just to defend the position. I don't think anyone really bothers with obeying the white line. I used to, but then I realised I'm just losing out by doing it, so there's no point really. Although to be fair, I wouldn't mind if they implemented a rule where you couldn't cross it. I wouldn't mind that at all. So this point here, at the beginning of lap 7, people just coming out of the pit lane. I'm in 11th, got Dennis on my inside. I come into the first turn, I'm not sure what's gone on, but there's 3 cars off. Bishop's gone very slow there, Blazer's got reset. So no idea exactly what happened, I couldn't quite capture that. But I've gained a couple of positions, so I'm quite happy about it. We now have the Polish driver right on our tail in the blue BMW there. And we have a nice battle here. Bishop there, I think, moving across quite late and keeping the position from Dennis. I'm going to try to sweep around the outside here of Dennis, and it's all got a bit too close. I was really just trying to sweep around the outside and maybe have the inside, but didn't react in time to the second apex, as I was just falling away. But once you're committed, and you can't. It's sometimes too late to pull out, and pulling out early, you know, that's quite good life advice too in some occasions, and it would have worked there. Didn't quite react in time, as now Inniss going for the inside line. There he goes. I'm back down to 10th with Dennis now on my tail, who actually have a penalty, so he's going to be losing out. So I'm going to have a gap behind. Inniss moving over to the left hand side, to try to avoid the slipstream. I'm going to bump him here. Let's try to catch back up with the guys ahead. So just really trying to minimise time loss. And maybe I do this too much, just trying to focus too much on not losing time. But doesn't always work as a strategy. Sometimes you do just need to fight. But I prefer to do that at the end of the race. So the BMW up ahead, he's in the slipstream of the Finnish driver in the Lexus. Let's see if we can go for that move. Looks like the Lexus, I think, is on a no-stop strategy. So his tyres are going to be dying of death. The death process has begun for the Lexus, almost into the back of him into turn 1, but we avoid contact. And we're just trying to get the run on the exit. Couldn't quite manage it. And unfortunately, at this point, the Polish driver beginning to pull away. So I need to make this move quickly and try to get back on to the tail of the Polish driver before he pulls away too much. This could be race critical. I need to get this done as quickly as I can. I'm not close enough into the second chicane, looking for it, but it's not quite. Could go for the lunge of the century, but it's just not quite going to happen there. Bishop with the penalty up ahead in 7th. That's interesting to note as we sweep into the right hander of Lesmo 1. The Finnish driver kind of, as we said, the death process has begun for his tyres. There's just a 0 grip, and he goes wide into 9th and looking for 8th into the final turn of Parabolica. Bishop on the back foot now as he got that penalty. It's just a 3-way battle for 7th, and to be fighting for 7th after starting 16th, I'll take that. And the gap's looking too big now, maybe, to catch up with the guys ahead, although some of them on the no stop, so there's a potential to maybe catch some of them if they really balls it up. So alongside the BMW now, I've got the slipstream of the Porsche, and you can see how much of an effect that has as I sweep alongside into turn 1. He's still there. I'm going to have to leave the space, always have to leave the space, and just run him onto the curb and get ahead into 8th place. But it was a great battle. Same lap here, and he's just going to come straight back at me. So this race now is really just a race for 8th place. Bishop has benefited from the fact that we're fighting. So this is just going to be a straight up 1v1 at Rust against the Polish driver. And again, looking for the retake up the inside. It's a good move. We're retaking each other almost every other corner here. So back up the inside, although now I'm going to be on the back foot once again. As we know, Monza, the cathedral of overtaking, the cathedral of speed, and the cathedral of slipstreaming and penalties. Into turn 1 on the 150 board, on the brakes, covering the position this time. So actually defending, although the BMW is still on the left-hand side. And it's going to be a drag race out of the exit of the first chicane towards the next chicane. So great racing between the two of us. It shows you it can be done. And now that the race is 2 laps away, or less than 2 laps away from the finish, we might as well get our elbows out and go defensive and fight for our position. So I don't think we're going to gain any from here. A little bit late on the brakes, so we can just meet that second apex. We do not want to get a penalty by cutting it. You just have to sweep alongside there and take the corner. So again, a similar situation, deja vu, into turn 1. The BMW on the left hand side is going to go deep on the brakes, a little bit too deep. It's a brave move to try to do that. He almost made it work on the last lap, but he's just lost out this time around. You see the gap opening up. Is he out of slipstream range? That is the crucial factor here. And he is 0.9 seconds behind, so I think he is. And as we come up to the Parabolica for the final time, it's going to be an 8th position unless I bottle it around here. Which, well, wait for it. No, I didn't bottle it, so it's okay. I'm going to finish 8th. 16 divided by 2 equals 8. I have halved my starting grid position. Although you could just qualify better, then, you know, it's not as impressive. But there we go, 15 seconds off the lead. The RCF looking quick around here. But I'm pleased with that result, given that we started quite far back. And I'm the fastest driver for McLaren, apparently. So eat your heart out, Lando Norris. Anyway, that is the end of the race. And I think we did well to avoid the trouble. There were some little incidents there with contact, but on the whole, no penalties to report of, so good news on that front. But that is all from me. Thank you so much for watching. There's been a lot of people reporting that they're not getting notifications, so if that is the case, then maybe just consider hitting the bell icon. But that is it from me. I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.